Yo, what is good, DTF Nation? It's your boy, Adam DTF, back again with another video. Just want to go over the start sits for all the QBs here in week 3 of the NFL season. Now, the Thursday night game players, they're not on this list, but you're not starting either of those quarterbacks anyway, so it doesn't matter. Don't have a lot of time, so let's jump into the video. But before we get started, I want to ask you to please smash that subscribe button. We're new here on YouTube, we're trying to grow the family, and so any support you give us, we greatly appreciate. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below, and also leave a comment letting us know what you think about the video and our start and sit decisions. But without further ado, let's dig in. Our first game on the docket, which I believe will be the game of the week, we have the Bills at the Dolphins. This is pretty easy on the Bills side. You're starting Josh Allen. He's the number 1 or number 2 quarterback in fantasy points right now. That actual stat eludes me. But yeah, you're not benching Josh Allen for anything. On the Dolphin side, I feel okay starting Tua. Tua Tagovailoa went off last week, 400 plus yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 of those touchdowns coming in the fourth quarter. I don't expect him to throw 6 touchdowns today, but with weapons like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, O-line playing well, good running backs, a good defense, also the Bills missing 4 key starters on defense and having to elevate an additional 2 practice squad members to fill in on the D-line, so that's 6 players who are normally out there. Yeah, it should be okay for Tua today. Bottom in QB1, top in QB2 perhaps, but there's upside there though when you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Bengals at Jets. Everybody's freaking out about Joe Burrow and the Bengals 0-2 start. I'm going to take Joe Burrow's advice and just relax. They got all the weapons. The O-line should be performing better than they are performing. They've allowed a lot of sacks the first 2 games, but you got a lot of new pieces, and so sometimes it takes a little time for those things to gel. I'm not worried about Joe Burrow. I think they turn it around, and there's no better time than going up against the Jets to turn it around. Speaking of the Jets, of course, Zach Wilson is still injured, and Joe Flacco has been playing really well, throwing for over 300 yards both weeks, and actually getting the win last week against the Browns. But, you can't pit Joe Flacco in your starting lineup. There's better options streaming, You could pit Marcus Mariota in your lineup or Jared Goff in your lineup over Joe Flacco. So, start Joe Burrow, start no one from the Jets. Raiders at Titans. Derek Carr, you're going to start him. I know it's been a rough first 2 weeks for Derek Carr, but they have too good of weapons for Derek Carr to continue to struggle, and for the Raiders as a whole to continue to struggle. Need to get the ball to Devontae Adams way more than they did week 2. Hunter Renfrow is out, so that is something to be aware of, but that just means more targets for Devontae, more targets for Darren Waller. Feed Josh Jacobs the rock, and you'll be good to go. For the Titans, after seeing what we saw against the Bills this past Monday night, I'm not starting anything on the Titans except for maybe Derrick Henry, and that's again a maybe because Derrick Henry doesn't look like the same guy he used to be. But we're talking about quarterbacks, and yeah, Ryan Tannehill, he is waiver wire fodder at this point. I need to see the Titans get it together before I could trust Ryan Tannehill in my starting lineup. Yeah, if you just give me a second here, something happened to our background music, man. Gotta get our music going. We're disconnected from the webs. That's what's going on. This is live TV, people. Sorry for the hiccup. Okay, we're just going to move forward without the music because the internet is being a son of a bitch. Okay. All right. Saints and Panthers. Jameis Winston, excuse me, Jameis Winston, he's playing with a fractured back. I don't know exactly what's going on. I just saw playing fractured back when reading up on player injury reports this weekend. So yeah, you're not starting Jameis. And even if he was fully healthy, the Saints offense has looked, besides the fourth quarter against my Atlanta Falcons, they've looked anemic. So not playing Jameis Winston, and I'm not starting Baker Mayfield either because the Carolina Panthers have looked anemic. Besides, a couple of good connections to DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, some good tough writing by Christian McCaffrey. I think Matt Rule wants to get fired. I don't know why he is playing this offense like he is. He needs to be getting the ball to Christian McCaffrey. You feed Christian McCaffrey, you let Christian McCaffrey do Christian McCaffrey things. That opens up the offense for Baker to get the ball to the receivers on play action. Until both these offenses turn things around, you can't be comfortable trusting either one of them in your starting lineup. Ravens at Patriots. Of course, you're starting Lamar Jackson. That's easy. Don't need to say anything else about that. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. For the Patriots, you're sitting Mac Jones. The Patriots, under Matt Patricia and Joe Judge calling the plays, they don't look good, man. They do not look good. Two of their best weapons in Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry didn't even have a catch last week in week 2. That's horrible, and it's unacceptable. Today, Jacoby Myers is also going to be out, so that's the main pass-catching weapon for Mac Jones. Yeah, you can't trust it. Mac Jones, he's staying on the waiver wire until things appear to be getting better there. Don't even waste a bench spot on Mac Jones. Lions at Vikings. I am comfortable starting Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been playing really well. He's the QB9 through 2 weeks. He's got great weapons. And it should only get better for him as the season goes on because he'll get Jameson Williams back as well from his torn ACL. But yeah, you could feel confident if you need a streaming replacement for Dak Prescott or Trey Lance, or you're worried about Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers playing against each other later on this evening because of their deficit of pass catchers with the injuries and suspensions. So yeah, Jared Goff, I think he is a good stream this week. And also, I'm still starting Kirk Cousins. I know the Vikings as a whole kind of imploded last week, but Kevin O'Connell, this offense, it's going to be good. Kirk Cousins, he doesn't do good in primetime. He was 2-10 on Monday Night Football. So if we are to believe trends, then his performance was to be expected. He's not playing primetime. It's a daytime game. So you can feel confident starting both of these quarterbacks this week. Eagles at Commanders. Jalen Hurts, no more needs to be said. You're starting Jalen Hurts. Man is going to be in the running for MVP this year. He's going off. Carson Wentz has played way above expectations through 2 weeks. He's leading the league in yards and tied for touchdowns with 7. So until it breaks, I'm riding it, baby. Carson Wentz, start him. The Eagles defense, I know they had a great showing against Kirk Cousins, but if they didn't get those 3 picks and the Vikings had gotten more than just 7 points, it would have been a different story, man. I think the Washington Commanders have great weapons in Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin. Curtis Samuel is healthy and playing really well. We forgot about Curtis Samuel because of the injuries that he had last season, barely playing. They got good running backs, Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick. Antonio Gibson has been playing above expectation. The defense is a little sus, but that just means that Carson Wentz will have to pass. So you can feel good starting both these guys in what should end up being a pretty high-scoring game. For the Chiefs at Colts, Patrick Mahomes, you're starting him. Don't need to say any more about that. On the Colts side, you're sitting Matt Ryan. Don't need to say any more about that. Until the Colts look like they're getting things together, you can't trust starting Matt Ryan or honestly anybody on this team outside of Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor. Last week they got shut out by the Jacksonville Jaguars, whose defense, is not that good. You're not good enough to be shutting out a team that had playoff expectations time the season started. So Matt Ryan, he was missing Michael Pittman last week and Alex Pierce, but still not good, man. Not good. He did not look good. So until they start looking better, can't even have Matt Ryan as your QB2 and 2 QB in Superflex leagues. Just sit him. Texans at Bears. You're not starting anybody. Justin Fields didn't even have 100 yards last week. He's averaging under 100 yards a game. Only attempted 11 passes last week. You can't do anything with that. Davis Mills, he had some good games, like 4 or 5 good games against really tough defenses last season, but there's just better options, man. So don't start anybody from either of these teams. Jaguars at Chargers. Not starting Trevor Lawrence. Last week was an anomaly. They're going against the Chargers. The Chargers defense is going to perform better than the Colts defense. The Colts defense should be better than what they are, but they're missing Shaq Leonard and they're missing some other key rotational pieces. So until their defense gets healthy, games like Trevor Lawrence, coming from a surprise QB, they could happen. But you're not trusting Trevor Lawrence as a starting option this week against the Chargers, who are going to be dominant, especially with their defense getting healthy again. Got Justin Herbert highlighted here in orange because he's a game time decision. If he plays, you got to take a chance and start him because it's Justin Herbert and he's one of the best in the league, but he will be playing with this injury. You could expect, checking out Stephania Bell talking about his injury earlier today, you can expect with this type of injury for his passing yards and passing production to go down about 20%, but they got weapons, man, and it's the Jaguars, so even 80% Justin Herbert is still very startable in fantasy football, and if he plays, it's going to be good. But it is an afternoon game, 4:05 or 4:25 start time, so it doesn't leave you with many options if he ends up not playing. So be sure to be monitoring the player news and injury reports to see what happens. Rams or Cardinals. You're starting both Matthew Stafford and Kyler Murray. These are 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, 2 of the top 10, and yeah, you gotta play the studs, right? You gotta play the studs. So unless you got somebody better than either one of these guys, you're starting them. This should be a good, high-scoring game. I know the Rams defense is good. Arizona Cardinals defense is middle of the pack at best, in my opinion. But that just means that Matthew Stafford should have an easier time throwing up points, and that should mean that Kyler Murray will throw up points because they're going to have to pass in order to keep up. Packers and Buccaneers. I know a lot of people are down on Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, saying you need to sit these guys this week, especially with them missing their pass catchers. I am slightly on the fence about these 2 quarterbacks, but they're 2 of the GOATs, man. So they're going to find ways to get it done. This could be a game that leans heavily on the running backs and defensive play. But, I just don't see these guys going 3 and out, man, on multiple drives. A majority of drives. Of course, this could happen 1 or 2 times, but I think unless you got better options, which, these guys are ranked more like, QB 10, QB 13 for me in that range. So unless you got some of the top 10 guys, I'd be playing these guys. I would not be starting guys like Jared Goff or Marcus Mariota over these guys. So take it for what it's worth. But you got to start 2 of the greatest, and perhaps their last matchup ever. If this is Tom Brady's last season, could be Aaron Rodgers' last season. He thought about the idea of retirement last year, and with things not going the way that he wanted them to go in Green Bay so far this season, won't be surprised if we have another offseason of Aaron Rodgers contemplating retirement. Dude is 38. Don't know if he wants to play until his 40s like Tom Brady wanted to do. So in their last show, potentially their last showdown, I think both these guys are going to want to ball out. It would help if they had their pass catchers healthy and better options, but again, like I said, unless you got a top 10 quarterback, you're going to start these guys. Falcons at Seahawks. You're not starting either quarterback unless you absolutely have to. I think Marcus Mariota is the better stream option over Geno Smith. You know, he's QB 12 on the season, I believe. A lot of that came from the first game, though. But yeah, if you can afford to, you're sitting both these guys. If you absolutely have to, stream Marcus Mariota. But I'm not saying any more about that. You got bad offensive lines. You got two teams in the middle of rebuild. You got two teams whose defenses are not that great. So could end up with the quarterbacks actually getting some substantial points because of the defensive deficiencies. But there's better options for you to stream and start. 49ers at Broncos. I know Jimmy G looked good last week after Trey Lance went down with a season-ending ankle injury, but I'm not starting Jimmy G against the Broncos defense that has been playing really well and been carrying the slack of the Broncos offense not looking good. I think a lot of that's on Nathaniel Hackett. I heard that they hired can't remember the dude's name, forgive me, but they hired some help to try an assistant, longtime coach in the NFL, really good coach. They hired him to help Nathaniel Hackett make some game decisions in game. And that's what they need, man. They need some experience on the sideline. They can't have new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new special teams coach. Like, this is too much new. You need some guys to come in and to help take control of this team. With that being said, I'm still going to start Russell Wilson. He is an elite quarterback. I'm not of the mindset that it was the people around Russell Wilson that made Russell Wilson a household name during his best years in Seattle. Russell Wilson has the playmakers. This team should get it together. And I know the 49ers defense is a tough defense, so this will be a test. But diamonds are forged with pressure, baby. So I'm still starting Russell Wilson until he just absolutely falls off a cliff. I classify Russell Wilson and Joe Burrow in the same category of quarterbacks that have struggled the first 2 weeks to throw up points, but I'm not worried about it. They should do good as the season goes on. So you're starting Russell Wilson, and you're sitting Jimmy G. Monday Night Football game. Cowboys Giants, you ain't starting nobody. Short and simple. Dak Prescott still a few weeks away from returning. Cooper Rush, I know he looked good against the Bengals last week, but I'm not starting him, and I'm not starting Daniel Jones because there are way better options than Daniel Jones, especially with the Cowboys defense that has been playing decent. So, yeah, don't put any of these guys in your lineup unless the waiver wire is absolutely barren and you have no choice but to, and you're playing 14, 16 team leagues or something, or 2 QB leagues or something like that. But yeah, that's all our games right there, baby. So, with that being said, we're going to wrap it up right here. Videos just hit 18 minutes long. That's a nice, good, short, concise video. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button and leave a comment telling us what you think about your starts, about our starts and sits, and who you're starting and who you're sitting this week. And also, please smash that subscribe button and join the DTF family, because we're only going up from here. All these actions, they help us with the YouTube algorithm, pushing us to new eyeballs, helping us grow the family. So we appreciate any support. I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart. And be sure to also follow us over on Twitter. I need to get an overlay made so that I can have our social media handles. But yeah, we're starting to get our social media presence started and growing. So follow us over at Twitter at DTF Sports _. That's at DTF Sports _. We're trying to grow the family over there. Instagram and TikToks are coming soon. Maybe even Snapchats. Going to make a Facebook, of course. But yeah, we have a lot of high expectations for this channel and what I want to do, what we're trying to do. So, I can't thank you guys enough for support. Just you being here and viewing the videos is a great, huge help. Full off this week, had a lot of stuff going on for a lot of us here at DTF Sports, and so didn't get a full upload of videos like we want. It's been a struggle since the week 1, honestly. But week 4, we're looking good, and we're coming hard. That's what she said, right? But yeah, hopefully we'll have the full complement of videos that we want to upload each and every week, starting Monday night with our waiver wire picks for week 4. And we'll have player prop bets for Monday Night Football coming tomorrow as well, or maybe later on tonight. But yeah, love you guys. Thank you for all the support. And we will catch you on the next one.